Hello students, welcome back to Shiva School. I'm your mentor Pratap Bhosle, gives you 10th lecture in the zoology lecture series. This lecture series will be helpful for the UPSC, MSc and BSc also, because I will going to cover all the syllabus of the zoology. Okay. So in this lecture, we will cover the cytoskeleton part of the cell biology. We have already covered all the other organelles like mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, endoplasmic reticulum. But in this lecture, we are going to study cytoskeleton. Actually, the UPSC have not asked a single question about the cytoskeleton part. But if the UPSC decides to ask a difficult question, then this cytoskeleton could be that perfect candidate to ask for. Because the cytoskeleton is an integral part of the cell structure, as it gives the cell its characteristic structure. It also useful for giving a particular location to all the other organelles of the cells along with the movement of the cell. Okay, so we cannot skip the cytoskeleton part, as this can be a potential very useful question for the UPSC mains theory exam. So let's start with this lecture. If you want some more detailed lecture notes on this chapter or any other chapter, you can join my Telegram channel or my log into my website www.shivaschool.co.in. At that you will get perfect notes also and lectures also. In these lectures I usually discuss the concepts in very basic structure like the theoretical manner, and the detailed analysis is in actually that notes. Okay, so let's start with today's lecture. So the first of all, the cytoskeleton has three main parts. Okay, we are not going to into much details as the question has never been asked. We will just see some finer or smaller part of this cytoskeleton system. So let's start with the actin filament. And what are the actin filament? These are amongst that three basic cytoskeleton part. Which are those, or which are those filaments of the cytoskeleton system? The first is the actin filament. Okay, actin filaments are the first. Then the next is the microtubules. Okay, the microtubule is the next, and the next is the intermediate filaments. So all of these three comprises of all the cytoskeleton system almost, along with some other proteins and filaments also. So first, let's study the actin filament. So this is the actin filament. It has actually a 7 nanometer diameter. Okay. So this is the cell and this is the nucleus. So these filaments you can see they are arranged throughout the cytoplasm also, along with the line of the plasma membrane also. All of these are what? Actin filaments. And what they do is that they give a cell a characteristic shape. Also they help in locomotion, also help in cell division. And how do they help? We will see in the next slide. Also, along with this locomotion and the shape, that is movement and shape, they also give strength and shape to this plasma membrane. As these actins are surrounding to this plasma membrane, or they line the inner part of this plasma membrane, they give the strength and a characteristic shape to this plasma membrane. Now let's see what is the structure of this actin filaments. Okay. See, all these diagrams I have compiled for you. You won't find these diagrams and notes at one point anywhere else. I guarantee you that. Okay, I have simplified this diagram for you also. So let's see the diagram of the actin filament. The actin filaments, filament monomer or the filament F or the F actin basically start from the G actin protein. So such G actin proteins, single G actin proteins, combines to form a dimer. Okay, and while forming a dimer, they form those dimers in a particular polarity. That means they had a head kind of structure and a tail kind of structure while forming this dimer. Now these dimers, to these dimers, other G actins get added and it forms a trimer, and so on. These G actins will form and they will form a length, or they form a thread. And when such two threads are, or when many threads or many of these trimers get in contact and they form a thread-like structure, and that is known as what? F-actin. As these dimers has a head and tail part, this F-actin also had a head and tail part. So it is given by a different annotation, and that is the negative end and the positive end. Just remember this structural part, don't go into much details. Okay. So along with these G units, the F-actin has some proteins also, troponin and tropomyosin. Okay. Right now we are studying the cytoskeleton only, and what are these proteins? We will study in a separate lecture. But what is the significance of this protein is that they use the ATP produced after the hydrolysis, or the ATP produced inside the cytoplasm. They use that ATP and they carry out the movement or the transport activities inside the cell, and that is with the help of this cytoskeletal system. In this case, it is what? Actin filaments. So this is the structure and the synthesis of how is the basically they work, the F-actin. Next, we are going to see there are some different surface projections formed inside the cell for a movement, right? Whenever the cell has to move from one place, it has to form some projections out of it so that it can approach or it can sense to newer areas. So these projections out of the plasma membrane are formed with the help of actin filaments to their basic structure. Now, how these actin filaments help to form such projections, we will see in this diagram. So, such projections are nothing but referred to as what? Pseudopodia. But let's see some particular examples of this, like the lamellipodia, filopodia, and the stereothelia. So, the first example is the lamellipodia. So, this is how the lamellipodia are formed. Let's see first what are they are made of. The branched actin filaments formed by wave proteins or the scar wave proteins. See, the lamellipodia basically formed when these scar or wave proteins get into action, and the branched actin filaments, they combine with these proteins and form a projection, and this projection means this protrusion. Okay. This happens with the help of what? With the plasma membrane on the top. Inside it is the actin filaments, and along with that the basic driving motors are the what? Scar and wave proteins. So such spikes or such protrusions are known as microspikes. Okay, these are known as what? Microspike. So let's see how actually the cell moves with the help of this lamellipodia. So suppose this is a cell at a fixed position. So at a fixed position, it will also have some point of attachment with the surface, with this surface, and these point of attachments are known as adhesion point, right? So this cell, these are the actin filaments inside it. So this cell resides at it. Suppose the cells now need to migrate it to a new position. So this would be the direction of that movement of the cell. Now that it decided with the help of some chemoreceptor or some electrical stimuli. Now as the cell has to move, what the cell do is that these actin filaments inside it will form a protrusion with the help of this plasma membrane on the top. So the plasma membrane protrude out from the cellular original structure, and it form an extension or what is called as lamellopodium protrusion. So this is the first step, that is known as extension. In the next stage of adhesion, what will happen? Now whatever this protruded part is there, now this will form a new point of attachment. Okay, so this will be called as what? Adhesion point, a new adhesion point. This will be the second phase we could call as adhesion. In the third step, what will happen, as the cell has to move to a next point or a next position, it also needs to leave the previous adhesion point also, right? So to leave this previous adhesion point, these actin filaments will pull out all the plasma membrane which is in contact with this previous adhesion point. So it will contract. So it with the contraction of this actin or contraction of this plasma membrane will happen with the help of this actin filament. And at the same time, the remaining part of the cell or other part of the cell will also try to dislocate or translocate to a forward position or to a newer position. So that would be a forward movement of cell body. And this step is referred as translocation. So what will happen in the last step, we can say, that is the de-adhesion. Now this previous point of attachment will be completely detached from the cell, and at this previous point of attachment is completely detached, the cell now migrates to a newer position. So in this way, the further, then this step is called as de-adhesion. Now in this way, the cell will form again a new point of attachment and cell can easily move. So this is how the significance of lamellipodium is. Now see some other functions also. So as we have said, it propels the cell. Along with that, keratinocytes of fish and frogs are also nothing but this lamellipodium. Also the quick repair of wounds is also happen with the help of this. Quick repair of wounds means what? Suppose this is your hand, okay, and there's a wound happen at this point. Now the skin at this point is broken away, right? So there will be two parts, one part from this side and one part from this side. Now to heal this wound, what needs to happen is that the cells from this side needs to migrate from this side to this side to close that wound, and the cells from this side will need to travel from this side to that side to close that wound, right? Now that migration will happen with the help of what? With the help of cells forming such lamellipodium. So this is how it also helps to quick repair of wounds. Next is the site of protein attachment for cell cap formation. Now what is the cell cap formation is that? Suppose this is the cell, okay. Now this is the cell and this is the lamellipodium. Now what happens will that whatever the cytoplasm, whatever the extracellular proteins are there, they migrate from outside of cells and they just attach to this lamellipodium. Now when they attach to this lamellipodium, it provides a point of attachment to this protein. And when there are many proteins attached to this lamellipodium, it will look like as a cap, and that is referred to as what? Cap formation of the cell. So this is about the lamellipodium structure and function. Next we will see the filopodia. See, although there are not so much important points, but once you have understand how the cell actually moves and how the internal structure of the cell is, that will also simplify your diagram of structure of the cell, because up to this point you know that there is endoplasmic reticulum in there inside the cell, that is the mitochondria is there inside the cell. You know the rough endoplasmic reticulum is located near to the cell. But these positions of these organelles is fixed with the help of this cytoskeleton. So that's why we need to study the cytoskeleton. And along with that, all the migration or all the movement or the locomotion of these cells happens with the help of only these cytoskeletal system only. So we are bound to study this. Okay. So let's study the next part of actin, or the next type of projections of actin filament, that is filopodia. See, we have studied the lamellipodium. And what are these filopodia? The actin ribs are the micro spikes which extend beyond the lamellipodium. Now, how to differ in between the lamellia and filopodia? Suppose there is a cell projection, it will call as what? As we have seen in the case of lamellipodium, it is called as microspike. But if that cell projection extends beyond the area of that microspike, it will be referred to as what? Filopodia. Okay. And the first Lamellipodia, as we have seen, formed out of the branched actins with the help of scar and wave proteins. Now this Filopodia will be formed from the unbranched active fibers which are tied together by a protein named as the fascin. So the fascin will just tie together all of these actins, and these actins tied together by fascin will be anchored to the plasma membrane by the help of another protein, and that is known as what? Formin. So this is how the Filopodia is formed. Now after the structure of the Filopodia, let's see what is the function of this Filopodia. The first function is like Lamellipodia, we can say, adhesion with the substratum, ensuring or establishing the point of attachment with the substratum. Next is the sensing the migration, sensing the environment, what is there outside the cell or to the surrounding of the cell. That sensation is carried out with the help of Filopodia. Next is the migration also, like locomotion. The cell-cell interaction also. These Filopodia also interact with the Filopodia of another cell also, that is the cell-cell interaction. Next is to close down a wound, as we have seen in case of Lamellipodia. This also helps to close a wound. Next is the macrophage, the phagocytic tentacles. Okay. See, suppose this is the cell, and here is a part which our system has tagged as to phagocytize this part. So this phagocytosis will occur with the help of this Filopodia also. These Filopodia will engulf later on this whatever the part marked to be phagocytized. Okay, so this is the function of also Filopodia. That occurs in the case of macrophages. Okay. Now we have seen the Lamellipodia, Filopodia. Now see the Stereocilia. What are these Stereocilia? See, these are the mechanosensing organelles of the hair cell. Mechanosensing organelles means whatever the fluid pressure is there, or the mechanical stresses are there inside the these cells are there or in the surrounding. They sense with such stimuli, and they convert into the electrical stimuli. And how this convert, have various microvilli present in the structure. And where are they located? They are located in the auditory canal, vestibular system in the ear, and the functions are the sensing, movement, one on the same most of the time. So now let's see the next. Is the microtubules. See, microtubules have the diameter about the 25 nanometer. We have seen the actin filaments already. Now let's see what are the microtubules, the third part. So this is the diagram of the cell. This is the nucleus, and these are the centrosome or the microtubule organizing center. From these microtubules will emanate, and they will direct it towards the cell membrane. They are spread across almost the entire structure of the cell. Okay, so these are how the microtubules are formed. What is the exact location of these microtubules is there inside the cell. And these are made up of tubulin units. These microtubules individually are made of tubulin units. And what are the significance of them is that they determine the position of the membrane enclosed organelles. So whatever the other organelles are there, membrane enclosed organelles are there, like the endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, their position inside the cell cytoplasm is determined by the microtubule. So this is one of the important functions. Then is also the formation of the mitotic spindle. All of these cell division, mitotic spindle function we will study in the separate slide. So let's move to the structure part, or how these microtubules are formed. So the formation of these microtubules starts with the formation of the two type of subunits. One subunit is alpha subunit, the second subunit is the beta subunit. Now these subunits get attached with themselves and form a dimer. After the formation of dimers, such many dimers come into the close contact with each other, and they form this filament or this thread, and that is this filament is referred to as what? Protofilament. Now, how the final structure of the tubulin is formed? When such 13 protofilaments come in together and they form a hollow cylinder-like structure, when they come into contact and they form a hollow cylinder-like structure, at that time the tubulin is formed. Okay, and that tubulin, that the outer periphery of the cylinder is made up of what? Almost 13 protofilaments. Okay. Now we have seen the structure, and if there is only one additional point is there. As we have seen in case of the actin, there are some polarities also there for in case of the dimers. Here also these dimers have a polarity that is denoted by the same, the negative and the positive end. But in case of these, whatever these alpha subunits are there, if to the side the alpha subunits are exposed to that side is referred to as negative end. And if to the side, if the beta subunits are exposed, it is referred to as positive side. So this is the change. Okay. And the growing aids, obviously these growing aids of these ends of these microtubules are directed towards where? Periphery. As it is starting from almost from the center, the growing end will be always to the periphery of the cell. So this is the structure of the microtubule. Now let's see some of the function of the microtubules. The function are like they can also form the cilia for a cell. Okay, they are also form a cilia to a cell, and the cilia will help for the what? The sensations or a motile whip-like structure. Next function is the tracks for the transport of materials. Now what is meant by the transport of materials? Down long neuronal axis means inside the cell, wherever these microtubules are there, the location of this exact track formed by the location of these microtubules, that will also be the path of the transport of various materials inside the cell. Next, in case of plant cells, it directs the pattern of cell wall synthesis. In case of plant cell, these microtubules actually direct that where the cell wall needs to be synthesized. Okay, so that is how the cell wall synthesis is directed in the case of plant cell. In the case of protozoans, actually the framework upon which the entire cell is built, that is determined by the microtubule. It is one of the very big or major functions. That is how that shape of how the entire cell is going to be built. That is going to be determined by what? Microtubules. Along with that, these microtubules only work as a two-way transport system. And the two-way transport system, it works with the help of two proteins. One is the kinesin, the second is the dynein. The kinesin actually is a transporter or the protein which transport whatever the cargo or whatever the load which it has, it transport that, or the kinesin transport that load right from the centrosome to the cell periphery. The dynein does the opposite work. Dynein does the transport that cargo outside of from the cell to the cell centrosome. So this is how the two-way transport system works, and that occurs on the tracks of what? Microtubules. Next is that during mitosis, the distribution of the replicated chromosomes is also occurs with the help of these microtubules. We will see in the last part of the lecture. Now let's see, as we have seen actin, microtubules. Now the third part, the intermediate filaments. So the intermediate filaments have the diameter about the 10 nanometer, and they line the inner surface or the inner face of the nuclear envelope. As all of you must know the structure of the nucleus also, nuclear membrane also, because we have studied in our earlier lecture. So as we have studied that there is a nuclear lamina inside this nucleus, and that nuclear laminar structure is reinforced, it strengthened with the help of these intermediate filaments. This is in the case of nucleus, but when they are in the cytoplasm, they actually form a strong twisted thread-like structure. Now they form a strong twisted thread-like structure throughout the cell, obviously. Now what it will do is that it will give a strong capacity to hold high pressure to that cell. That's why the whole epithelial cells can form extend a long and it form a very robust axons. Okay, that's why this is because of this twisted network of these intermediate filaments, because this twisted structure will give that strength to maintain that thread. So because of this structure also, we form a flexible but strong intracellular tendon also. The next significance will be the form the tough appendages like keratin of hair, fingernails, as we can know about it, right? So these keratin and the fingernails are formed out of these only. So now let's see the structure of the basics. These are the significance of part of this intermediate filament. Now let's see how the structure of these intermediate filaments is. Now I am presenting all the structure and the function and the location part of all of these cytoskeletal filaments. And I bet you won't find it at one place anywhere. So let me show you the diagram of how the intermediate filaments are. So the intermediate filaments actually has 4 alpha helical regions, that is 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B. They are joined by proteins with each other, and that monomer which is formed by those 4 alpha helical regions will have one amino end, NH2 end, that is referred to as head, and one carboxylic acid end, that is referred to as tail. Now such 2 monomers will come and it will form a coiled structure that will be referred to as dimer. In the formation of that dimer, both carboxylic acid group will have a same head or same tail exposed to the same side. Now such dimers come in contact and they form a tetramer, but while forming a tetramer, it forms the opposite head and tail bonding with each other. Like suppose they form a lateral position with each other and the head is adjacent to the tail. So such network is formed. Then again head, then again tail. Okay. Now such tetramer sheet is formed. Now once the tetramer sheet is formed, that tetramer sheet elongates continuously and finally that elongated or that long sheet of the tetramers supercoils. Suppose this is the sheet of that tetramer. Now this sheet of the tetramers will finally supercoil. Okay, it will supercoil and it will form what? This entire structure will look like what? A rope. This structure will be look like what? Rope. That rope-like filament bundle that is formed because of what? Supercoiling of this sheet of tetramers. So this is how the structure of the intermediate filament is. Now let's see what are the function of if you need to understand how they could be present inside the cytoplasm. So this could be the diagram. So they could be anywhere, like, okay, this could be like this also. Okay, they are also present as anywhere inside the cytoplasm. Now what are the functions? Obviously it gives the mechanical strength to cells and tissues, as we have seen. They are also a tension bearing elements that help to maintain the cell, its shape and rigidity. They also anchor in place several organelles like the nucleus and desmosome. So like in the case of nucleus, whatever the fixed position of this nucleus is determined also with the help of these. They just anchor, such many threads just anchor this nucleus at one place. Okay, and write this. Now the nucleus won't be able to move anywhere because around it there is a kind of network of these intermediate filaments is there. So in other way, it is anchoring the nucleus inside the cytoplasm at one position. Next, it reinforces the formation of the nuclear lamina. As we have already seen, whatever the inside of the nuclear is there, it has the nuclear lamina around the DNA inside it, and that membrane, that nuclear lamina is reinforced with the help of this intermediate filament. Then they form the bundles of filament that ink the plasma membrane to the nucleus. They also, see, these filaments will also nothing but link the plasma membrane also to this nucleus through their filamental network only. Okay, so this is also the function. Next is the associated proteins bind to intermediate filaments. Now what is that? See, there are in the cytoplasm, there are some associated proteins are also there, which has very many functions. These proteins also associated with this number of intermediate filaments because they need some position to bind. Okay, so that is also one of the functions. The association with the proteins, attachment with the protein. Then why do they bind? For the stability, obviously, and to provide an attachment site. Okay, they see the disassemble. Now these intermediate filaments, while the mitosis, while the cell division, they just disassemble, or while the movement also they just disassemble. And how they disassemble? By the specific or the reversible phosphorylation. So they just disassemble, and then once again the movement occurs or movement completes, they just assemble again. So this is also occur in the help of intermediate filaments. And what are the examples? Examples are like the keratin in the most epithelial cells of the hairs, the vimentin and desmin. You can give any two examples, so that would be sufficient. But still, I have given more than two to just give you an understanding or a complete knowledge of these types. So the vimentin and desmin, they are the fibrous protein in mesenchymal or the muscle cell. Then the peripherin or the neurofilaments and the glial fibrillary acidic protein GFAP, and they are present in the neurons. Then the lamins, as in the case of nucleus. So we study some diseases of the defects in the nuclear or the intermediate filaments. So some diseases are due to the mutations in the intermediate filament, and that disease is called as the epidermolysis bullosa simplex, and it is characterized by the skin blisters produced even with the slight mechanical stress. The blisters will occur. And next is due to the defect or the malfunction of the intermediate filament network, like the neurofilament, and it is nothing but the neurodegenerative diseases, that is the amyotrophic lateral sclerosis or the ALS. You know, earlier some days back there was the ALS challenges there. That ALS challenge was just to get others know that how does the ALS disease persons experience. So there is some restriction or some difficulty in movement. Just people feel stuck at one position. So that is what occurs in the help of ALS. Okay. Next is the disease is due to the defect in desmin intermediate filaments. That is also nothing but some of the kind of muscle disorders. Now, as we have seen the individual cytoskeleton system, actin, microtubules, intermediate filaments. Now let's see how some of the combine or the general points about these. The role of cytoskeletal filaments in cell division. What is that? See, suppose this is a cell, right? This is the nucleus. These are the microtubules. Okay. These are the actins and other intermediate filaments are there. At the time of cell division, what happens is that this nucleus degrades. It forms various DNA molecules, say, or the mere DNA gets just separated in the two parts, and that separation of that division of the DNA in the two equal parts, that is occurred with the help of these microtubules. When the DNA gets separated or it divides in two parts, at the same time these microtubules also get divided along with the centrosome, and it just distributes the DNA equally in two cells. And after that, the actins form a pinch, form a depression or the depression furrow or the cleavage furrow in that cell structure. Here they form a depression furrow from both sides. This will look like this, and that depression furrow or that cleavage furrow grows much deeper, and finally these two cells become separate. So this is how this is obviously the work of, as we have said, the actins here, the microtubules here, and intermediate filaments can be also there. So also the actin and microtubules togetherly also they are the tracks for the ATP powered motor proteins inside the cell. and they produce various movements. Like, as we are yet to study the proteins and their types, at that time I will also tell you about what are these cellular or the accessory proteins are there. So what it is said is that along with this actin and the microtubules, the accessory proteins also get in the contact with these. These accessory proteins will utilize the ATP generated, and they carry out the movement with the help of these microtubules and actins. And what are those movements? These are locomotion, these are muscle contraction, they are transport of organelles also, mitosis, beating of cilia, flagella, then the muscle contraction. All of these movements are occur with the help of these actin, microtubules, and the accessory proteins. The next is the cytoskeleton also determines the cellular organization and the polarity. What does it mean is that, see, the cell surface projection including the microvilli and cilia maintain location, length, and diameter of the cell. Now let's see what is this. Suppose this is one cell. Okay, this is the projection of that cell. Now what will happen is that because of this is suppose the esophagus area of the body, and it just get deposited or it just get fix its position in the esophagus. Now to fix that position at the esophagus, what will the cell will do? That cell will form a projection. That projection get in contact with this esophageal wall, and it just get form a point of attachment, adhesion, and it will fix the position of that cell with that esophageal membrane. Right? So this projection or this cytoskeleton only determines that location, that where that cell will form adhesion points, that will be the location of that cell. Also the length means that cytoskeleton system will also only govern the length, that how much to grow and what much to how much to get the bigger, that is to determine the diameter. That is also occurs with the help of the cytoskeleton system. Now this only enables the cells to tell the difference between the top, bottom, front, back, and often over time, lifetime. Now let's see, understand what is this. Now suppose this is the cell. Okay. Now the cytoskeleton system will only tell the cell that this is the front end of the cell. This is the front end, and the cell will always move from this side only. So once this the distribution of this actin or the other cytoskeletal system will determine what will be the, or which will be the front end and which will be the back end. Now once this it is determined that this is the front end, this is automatically going to be a back end, right? Now let's also, this cytoskeleton also determine what will be the top position, or what will be the top of the cell, and what will be the bottom of the cell also. And not only that, the apical surface or the basolateral surface is also, suppose this is the cell. Now this actin or this cytoskeleton filaments or the cytoskeleton system will only determine that this is the basolateral and this is the apical part of this cell. So this is also the function of the cytoskeletal system. Next is that they maintain a strong adhesive contact with one another, that is the layers serve as an effective physical barrier. Now let's understand. So this is one cell and this is another cell. Now this cell is in contact with another cell, and these are the point of attachments. Now what is said, or what this cytoskeleton system do, is that it forms this point of attachment, and this point of attachment will only function as what? A cell barrier, that no part of, or the no constituents or no components of this cell will go into this cell because of this barrier. So this point of attachment of this cytoskeleton system will only function as what? The barrier. Now let's see the, also they maintain a contact with the another cell, so that is also point. Now let's see what are the accessory proteins are. See, as I have said, the cytoskeleton system will only comprise of these actin, microtubules, and intermediate filaments are there. But they get the energy from these accessory proteins working. So accessory proteins actually get that ATP generated and they carry out the movement in these actin and the microtubules. So in the separate lecture after we see the translation and all that, we will also see all of these protein types, which are those proteins, troponin, myosin, filaments that are in the contact with this. So at that time what we will do is that at that time we will study separate proteins, and then we will study a separate question. In that question we will study that how the cell moves along with the help of cytoskeleton system and the proteins inside the cytoplasm. That question we will going to study. Now this is about the cytoskeleton system. So let's stop up to this in this lecture. As I have said, you want a detailed lecture notes, you can join my Telegram channel or website. So here I have just present almost all the diagrams and all the concepts in a particular point. If you want some more theory about this, you can definitely contact me through Telegram channel or just join my Telegram channel. The website is also currently under upgradation. Once it get upgraded, you will get all the information of notes and lecture in the website only. And just go through this lecture completely, have a look on notes. We will meet for our next session that will be on cell inclusion and some other organelles which may have remained. So till then, have a nice day. Bye bye.